Sometimes I'll start a sentence, and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
But I gotta say, I'm just fired up to be here today. Pretty cool! Pretty damn cool!
It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
Calm down, Greg, it's soccer.
And you can't stay off the weed!
This guy's such an idiot here.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Like an improv conversation. Improversation.
Leave it for another off-air chat. I didn't realize the intro music was always out.
My roofing
Almost
buddy
out.
was saying one of his roofers came up to him and said he wants a 30% raise, and he was like, "What the fuck?"
Had you been working there a long time?
Yeah, but he's like, "Okay, why do you deserve a 30% raise?" He's like, "Because everyone else is getting them across the industry," and he's like, "No, they're not." And he's like, "Well, I mean, you know,
Bring this to arbitration or something.
And he's like, "Well, is your work any better?" He's like, "Not really." And he's like, "Then why do you deserve a raise?"
Yeah, no, exactly. So
A 30% raise. I mean, I'm sure like 10% or 5%, whatever, but you know.
But I was going to explain something during our little off-air chat. I totally forgot, but it doesn't matter. Off-air conversation. We have no Oz today, so it's just the two of us. Do I sound okay?
Yeah.
I feel like, okay. I'm just making sure. I'm feeling okay. It's a little hot. I meant to take off the sweater, but we got the fan
Why
going.
don't you unzip?
It was a nice day. I should unzip a little bit.
Should unzip.
ASMR. It was actually a beautiful day out today. I was really surprised.
Yeah, I got my roof done. Actually, I didn't even show you.
Nat showed me.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, the landlord showed me. It looks nice. They still got a little bit of work to do. I think tomorrow,
but way better than what it looked like.
Yeah, 100%. You think that stuff's gonna be good for the wintertime? It should be, no?
Yeah, it's.
I mean, they wouldn't really sell. I mean, they could sell it to you and be total assholes, but they wouldn't sell it without being waterproof.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's like we had the black membrane up there throughout the winter last year, and we actually didn't have any problems. So
true. Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, this is obviously new and better. So hopefully, knock on fucking wood, because dude, I'm sick of dealing with that.
Yeah.
If the camera could pan up to the ceiling, they would see what I'm talking about.
It looks like it might fall in on us. Just like our roommate, our old roommate who used to live in in his room with no ceiling to pay free rent or get free rent.
It looks like Spider Pig from the Simpsons movie took a piss all over the ceiling. Like, you know?
It does. How's in there? They didn't rip up in there, did they?
No, it's fucked though. Like
if people could actually see behind the camera, we got a mini fridge, just stuff everywhere. Hey, Renos.
It's a real, but we're trying to, I might even keep the fridge in the stewed.
Yeah. I meant to ask you for some water, but
yeah, well, we're going dry today, pal.
Harvey Specter doesn't get cotton mouth.
Yeah. ASMR.
Yes. No Oz. He was golfing because it's a beautiful day. I don't know if that's why he's not here, but he's just not here. It's okay. Everyone needs.
He's on vacation this week.
He is on vacation.
He literally is. Yeah.
So he gets to take vacation from a job he doesn't get paid for.
It's a staycation, but yeah, exactly.
Happy Friday, everyone.
We're gonna toss out some job applications.
Yes.
on Indeed and what is the other ones?
LinkedIn.
Just Work. Monster,
ZipRecruiter.
LinkedIn,
Monster. Is Monster still a thing?
I don't know. It was like the first ever one. I remember they had the little Monster commercial, and they were like, yeah.
Glassdoor, I think, is one.
Man, that's so weird. You know, there was another thing, another product that, because Monster was like the first job.
Monster.ca. Canadian.
Board. Yeah.
Canadian.
And like now, like Indeed and all these other ones are huge, right?
Massive.
But Monster is nowhere to be found. So it's like, but there's another example of this. And I can't remember what it was, but I was like, they had such a jump on the industry and they fucking failed. And I don't know how it happened.
Monster.ca is still a thing.
It is still a thing. Interesting.
They probably don't spend enough money or probably don't spend any money on advertising.
Maybe it's for more like a holistic job approach. Like it looks more like professional than like
work
Indeed.
from. So the popular searches are work from home, federal government, IT, accounting, construction. So they retail, administrative. They touch a bit on everything. But I know what you're trying to say. I think you might be right, actually, because maybe that's why they don't advertise anymore, right?
Because it's a niche market that like they're targeting specific professionals or something. I don't really know, but there was another example of this, and
another website
where they came out before everything and they had such a jump on it and they just dropped the ball completely, and I can't remember what it was. I feel like it might have been a music streaming service or something like that. Like not Spotify, because obviously it's huge. But
Are you thinking of the Jay-Z one, Tidal? Tidal? Tidal?
Maybe. Tidal, Tidal.
I think it's still around, but I believe initially it was supposed to be like the next Apple Music, Spotify, a streaming service, but it never really took off. Isn't that what Triller was supposed to be, or Thriller, whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Now they just do boxing promotions for YouTube fighters.
Exactly. So they
free concerts,
rebranded and stuff, and,
Yeah,
and re-imaged the company and stuff. But it's gonna bother me. If I think about it, I'll blurt it out. But
you do that.
It's gonna really bother me.
If you guys are new to the show, this is exactly how it starts out. We just ramble and we turn up the mics when they get hot, and whatever we're talking about, we're talking about. But remember to hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Leave a comment or review. We encourage any and all types. Follow us on our social media pages to apply for the job that we're going to be posting. At Improversation Pod on Instagram and TikTok, at Improversation P on Twitter. Check out Bean Bundle. Use promo code IMPROV25 for fresh and different coffee beans for you and your loved ones to try. I actually had like an espresso on the way here, so I might be a little fired up because a couple hours ago, I was a little tired. I was like, man, I did a lot today. I mean, whatever, but
I did a lot.
I was just tired, I'm just tired. So
yeah, but sometimes it just fires you up.
It does.
Like, when you get a lot accomplished in a day, you just feel like unstoppable,
Mm-hmm. And we were kind of on eggshells a little bit. Didn't know what time we were going to be able to record because of the roof.
Yep.
But we're all good.
Yep, we're good. Everything works out,
It does. Go to Bean Bundle's page on Instagram, at Bean Bundle. They actually have like a Halloween promo right now. I believe there's a different code, but while you're there and you check it out and you like their stuff, use our code IMPROV25 for 25% off
Agreed.
your month-to-month subscription. Visit beanbundle.com for more. Yeah, it is a better deal. Also, check out Action Airsoft Club Canada, your one-stop shop for all things airsoft. Located in Mississauga, Canada's first indoor airsoft shooting range. They got a field, gun range, and all that kind of stuff. So, big milestone today, Mike. Actually, notice we've hit 3,500 audio listens. So that's just straight audio.
Wow.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It is pretty good. And I think it's for like the last
all episodes, right?
It is across all episodes. So still, a little round of applause for us. I don't know if we good job. I don't know if we pissed someone off last week. We got a thumbs down on our video for the first time in a long time.
Wow.
And we lost a subscriber.
Probably Thomas Rickus. I'm sorry for airing your full name on the show. But,
for all the slander.
But because I was chirping LeBron. And I told him to touch grass, and he probably didn't like that. So,
courtesy of the Nashville Predators, touch grass.
Hilarious. Eh? I honestly didn't really know what it meant, and I had to Google it, and it really just means come back to reality. Like, you got to go touch grass, bro.
Yeah, come down to earth.
Fucking crazy right now.
Exactly.
I didn't know what that meant, so I had to Google it, which kind of took the humor away. But then I'm using it like I fucking invented it. So.
While I was getting prepared for the podcast today, I found our old whiteboard that we used to use at the Staples Studios. I have it right beside me.
Oh, I'm looking for it. Remember we discussed that.
We did. And so we got a lot of topics to get into today, but the big one for us is obviously the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mike just pointed to the big check that we have. Happy Gilmore, Michael Scott check.
That's a big question.
Yeah. So we're going to bring it up right now. So on the whiteboard that I found, it's kind of half erased, half not erased. It's upside down for you, but for the people watching on YouTube, I don't know if you can make it out, but it basically says, it was a quote from Bobby Orr, and it says, "Forget about style, worry about results."
Yeah.
And that couldn't apply more to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And you know what's weird? We had this written almost 2 years ago. 2 years ago, think because it was 2019, before the pandemic.
Insane, bro. I didn't realize that. I thought you had written it on your way or before you came.
No, look, it says by face off, right?
That. Yeah.
2 years and the same shit still applies. And you know what? It doesn't even matter for 2 years. This is the same story for the last 5-6 years.
Listen, I just want to point out that you were an advocate and a proponent for letting them wear whatever the fuck they want to the games.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, before they got slapped 7-1.
In the grand scheme of things, you're probably right. It doesn't matter. But right now is just not the time for them to be, that's just an issue that is so far down on the list of priorities. Like, and I was really angry. Remember, I fucking freaked out when you told me that
you did.
The Leafs let them wear whatever they wanted.
You didn't know about it. Yeah.
I didn't know about it. I don't know if you guys realize I haven't watched the Leafs as much as I normally would in a season. I went to one game and I think I've watched one full other game, and every other game other than that, I've watched maybe a bits of periods here and there.
Well, there's a
because
game.
I can't stomach it. I honestly can't stomach it.
No, I agree, because it's the same thing over and over again, and there's a game going on right now, so it's past future for us. They're actually playing the Chicago Blackhawks, which, I mean, there might not be a worse moment in franchise history for the Chicago Blackhawks right now. That's a bigger story that I don't know too much about, and Mike's laughing at this tweet, not about the story, obviously, but...
Stone? I wasn't listening to the story. What were you saying about
No, I was just explaining they're playing the Chicago Blackhawks tonight.
Yeah, that's fucking horrible.
Exactly.
That's a horrible story, yeah.
So it's past future. We don't know what's going to happen tonight, but that is Austin walking in.
It looks like he's a mom of 3.
So I had a little Twitter interaction with a couple colleagues, and one of them had quote tweeted from Sportsnet, "Is it now a bad time to ask you what you think of the Maple Leafs' relaxed pregame outfit?" I said, did I say Maple Leafs right? Maple Leafs?
Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is when they were in the middle of getting their ass kicked by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Almost identical game. Last time they were in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You're analyzing this video way too much. I'm going to pause. It's distracting you.
Thank you. You're right.
The last time they were in Pittsburgh, they got dummied 6-1. Mike Babcock was fired about a couple days later. And I'll never forget that game because I watched it in Caesars at Windsor.
Oh, fuck yeah. Sorry.
If you've been listening to the show from the beginning, people get that reference. But I actually was there. And because I was going to the Detroit Lions game the next day.
Hit the gym?
I did not hit the gym.
Sorry.
I was going to the Detroit Lions game the next day. So I just remember that weekend very vividly. And it was actually that one where that famous meme had gone around, the brother and sister. They're smiling for the selfie.
The Greeks.
The Greeks, yes. And as soon as the selfie...
Bukadis or
something like that.
Burakis or something, yeah.
And as soon as the sister took the camera phone down, the guy just instantly...
Just one of these.
Yeah, it went from 0 or 100 to 0 real quick.
Yeah.
So anyway, the guy I work with, he goes, simple fix. Make this a reward for winning. So he's talking about being able to wear whatever you want. Until they do, strict dress code and repeat. Mike is nodding his head in agreement. And I do too. And I wrote, doesn't that sound a little ridiculous for a professional hockey team? Like, I wasn't making fun of what he was saying. I was agreeing with him, but think about what you're saying here. Like, think about what you're saying, Brooksy. Like, this is just ridiculous. So he goes, yes, it does. Yet, if they're going to play like children who don't belong in this league full of adults, they might as well see a reward-based system will motivate them. Nothing else has been. So someone else chimed in. He goes, what would you do, basically? Coaching change? And I said GM, in my opinion. And this is where it gets a little spicy, because he goes, no. I think Dubas is safe. This is what this guy had said. I responded, what makes you think that? The way I see it, he's poorly mismanaged this team. His title is literally general
Tavares,
manager.
The signings of Mitch and Austin, and Austin's fine, and Bill.
Right. So I said it's been poorly mismanaged since he took over, and I said the bad outweighs the good twofold, which means just doubles up. Like, no matter what good he did, it's like he took 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Right? Like, Kyle Dubas has done a lot. But this was this guy's point.
This is just a flat argument.
So he goes, disagree. His job is to get the players there. Coach's job is to extract the best out of them. Dubas has compiled a talented team and has also been actively doing whatever possible to improve them. And then he puts in brackets, in the ways that he can. Whereas it seems the room just isn't responding to Keefe. So I kept my cool. This was late at night. I said, we'll agree to disagree on Dubas, because I could go on for hours. And clearly that comment had the most likes out of it, because this guy here was totally agreeing with me. Dubas needs to go. So I was thinking, and I was like, hey, buddy, you put in brackets, in the ways that he can.
Right.
That almost proves my point.
Of course
exactly.
It does. Because he handcuffed himself.
Exactly. You nailed it. Yeah.
It's like, it's like doing something stupid, going to jail and being like, well, he was dealt a shitty card. He's doing as best as he can. It's like, well, he shouldn't have got himself to jail.
Play stupid games, like, win stupid prizes, right?
That's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not even an argument.
So
it just pisses me off. Like,
go ahead. Rant about it, dude.
I don't even know if I have anything left in the tank.
I know.
Like, I don't want to beat it home, because we've talked about it
this
so
dead
many
horse
fucking
every
times.
year.
Like,
that's the frustrating thing every year.
Kyle Dubas, whether, he anticipated a flat cap or not, handcuffed this team, period.
Absolutely.
That is a fact.
That's a
right?
fact.
And for him to say he's doing the best he can, well, he could have done better if he didn't make the moves that he made. I'm sure he couldn't have foreseen the outcome of all of this. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, listen, Tavares, I don't think we need him. I think he's not been really good. He's not been himself.
His first season, he was incredible. Had 90-something points, 46 goals.
Most points he's ever had in
based off of Mitch Marner's play. They played off each other, and they both had career years.
Were great, but it's been a steady decline for them both.
Yeah.
Over the last since that point. And a lot of people are like, oh, 10, 15 games over the last 2 seasons. It's recency bias. I was talking to people on Twitter today about it. I don't go on Twitter often.
No,
for
you
this
don't.
reason.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, like 10 to 15 games, I think recency bias holds a lot more weight than people think. Because
especially with the Leafs.
It's literally
it's a pattern.
It's a pattern.
Like,
as people grow, they either grow or they decline.
Yep.
And these are the years where you're going to start to see that in
these will
players.
Be the years.
It's never going to be the year for the Leafs. This is like their prime year where you should see them take that next level, that Nathan McKinnon jump in ability from an all-star to a superstar.
Yep.
But they're jumping down, and it's just not working out. Like,
no, it's not. It's really not.
And and people are, is Peter Holland's fucking tweet today. Suck it.
We will. Let's not get too aggressive. We'll talk about it because, like you said, this is beating a dead horse, and people probably don't want to hear us rant, but maybe they like hearing us get angry. Who knows?
I didn't even know you had the link to the tweets there.
Oh, I do, because I got a couple comments and I kind of came back down to earth on it. But what I wanted to say was
it's similar to what I said about Ben Simmons in the last podcast episode.
And what Peter Holland was trying to say.
Right. And that I got jumped all over that, rightfully so, because I feel the same way about Mitch Marner, except opposite feelings. Like, I don't think, like, I've tried to give him sympathy over the last 3 years when he's really not been the player we pay him to be. But it's increasingly tough to be patient with those players. And maybe because I'm not like Ben Simmons isn't slapping me in the face with all his issues all the time. I don't actually see it, but I don't have as much sympathy for Mitch because, like, he aired out his laundry to the media. He negotiated his contract through the media, through his cuck of a dad. He's the cuck, actually. But I just think it's a fucking sad situation that is embarrassing for everyone involved.
And I remember hearing years ago, it's like this group, Kyle Dubas, Shanahan, the big core four, they're either going to be the most loved or the most hated. And it's slowly turning into the most hated because the way Kyle Dubas has built this team by giving so much of the cap to such a small amount of guys on the team, it's so apparent that when they aren't playing well, and right now, Matthews, Marner, Tavares, they're playing very poorly. They're playing so bad. And the reason what makes them so great is because they make everyone else around them better.
Right.
And when those guys aren't going,
effect.
Yeah, like the Leafs are so volatile in the sense that when their big guys play well, they play really well and the whole team plays well. But when they don't show up, the whole team doesn't show up, and it's a domino effect. And that's just no way to win your team. You have to have balance. You have to have a little bit of everything. You know what? I watch the Ottawa Senators, and it's no bias because I write about them and cover them, but they're a team that has a little bit of everything, and they give every team such a hard time. They lost to the Capitals 7-5 the other night. They were down 4-0 or 4-1 at one point.
Back.
They just keep coming back.
Keep going.
Ovi on the other side, we're going to talk about him because I got some numbers to throw at you because every time I bring up his numbers, they just drive me into this zone where it's like, this guy is probably one of the greatest players ever.
Ovi is the perfect hockey player, in my opinion.
He is.
I mean, I've had my opinions about him in the past, but like, since he won a Stanley Cup, and it took him a long time to do that, right? He's really matured as a player still. Like, even in his twilight years in the NHL, like, he's really, every single year I've noticed that he's A, gotten better, and B, he's matured a lot. Like, it took him a long time, right? He was a fucking goon. Remember the clip of the controller dying when Ovechkin just watches the guy score a goal?
Yes,
they lose in overtime. Like, he's really grown from that kind of player to, like, he's thrown his body around, which he always has done. But, like,
absolutely,
he's a workhorse, and I really think he turned into the most ideal hockey player.
Yep. It'll take some time with these other guys. You hope. That's the thing we keep saying, and we're beating the dead horse because it's the same thing every year. And, they're the best team trained at talking to the media. Lessons we've learned, we got to take from this and move on. We've learned, I can't take it anymore. And this is why it's such a bad spot in Toronto and why the water is boiling super quick for everyone involved, because it's been lip service for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
No results. They're the new Mountain Valley Tech.
I was
like,
I was literally going to say that the Leafs are an entry-level ESG stock right now. Like they don't know if they're going to the moon or if they're going.
All they've been doing, you've been getting people
like,
pumping them for years, and now the curtain is being pulled back and the truth is starting to unfold. And yes, these guys are young, and that's what Peter Holland was talking about. But look, yeah, people have mental issues when you're a professional athlete. Dealing with public pressure is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about real legitimate mental health issues.
Listen, when you climb a pole because you're an electrician that fixes power lines, you assume the risk of falling off and dying.
I know the analogy you're making. Yes, especially in Toronto hockey.
And you sign a huge contract, like one of the biggest for your position,
and you don't perform,
and you underperform, you assume the liability. You assume that
the risk.
You assume the risk when you sign the contract and choose to accept whatever comes with that rule. You know, freedom of speech is one thing. People will always say what they want. You can either choose to listen or choose to let it roll off your back. You know, if I didn't learn that at a really young age, I would have been a completely different person. So
I agree.
Someone's got to be getting into these guys' heads, dissecting what's going on.
Yeah, at this point, it's
they really
all
need
mental.
a team,
yeah,
like a team psychologist, like a real fucking doctor in there to assess what is going on. Because, like, honestly, I think they might need it because
it's a slippery, man. It's a scary slippery slope they're
entering. I
entering.
wouldn't want to be Mitch Marner right now.
No.
So,
no, man.
Even with his millions of dollars, exactly. I don't think I would even really want to be him right now.
And that's what Peter Holland was trying to say.
I have sympathy maybe a little bit because, like, yeah, he's a person and it sucks that people are saying all this shit about him. But at the end of the day, dude, like, you assume that liability when you sign that contract.
And this is not even just hockey. This goes across the board for all sports. If you got a big ticket and you're expected to perform and you don't,
you get fired, man. Or you get moved somewhere else. Or we're going to say, okay, it's not working out. We're going to try this or we're going to do this. But no, they continue to pay and they continue to let them control everything. You don't want to wear a suit. You don't got to wear a suit.
Well, they've been coddled way too hard. Enough. Remember they used to play music at practice, skill drills.
I've been
you have
for 4 years. Everyone's laughing at me. No, they don't need that. They're still great. They're scoring goals. Everyone's doing fine until we get to the playoffs, obviously. You know, it's shit that I've said for a long time that
it is.
No one ever listened to me.
Well, I wanted to come here and say that today, that you have been beating that drum for a long time. And so have I, but I wanted to give benefit of the doubt for a new era because, look, we never had a player like Austin Matthews. We finally signed John Tavares. We got Nylander, Marner. But look, it's so apparent when those guys don't show up. We're going to move off this topic, by the way, because there's other stuff to get into. But like when those guys don't show up, the whole team doesn't show up, and you want to give the benefit of the doubt, but it's the same crap over and over. And this team is slowly turning into that team in like 2014 when the team hated the fans with Salute-gate and Joffrey Lupul, Phaneuf, Kessel.
Right.
You know, they didn't salute. The fans hated the team and the team hated the fans.
Right.
Those were dark days. The 18-wheeler going off the cliff. But this is getting to that territory because it's like we finally had that glimmer of hope with like, oh my God, we have superstars. And then, you know, people are held responsible along the way. And you were saying about Marner, like you can't fire him. He's got the contract. But guys like Dubas and Keefe, like warranted or not, they have to eat it when players don't perform.
People like Babcock.
He ate it.
No, he put these guys in their place and everyone gave him shit for it. They ran him out of town because Babcock put Mitch Marner on the fourth line and didn't play Austin Matthews in the first team. And this is the reason why.
Because he didn't coddle them.
You know, no one is an exception when you get into the NHL, in my opinion. You are just another player. Like, I don't care how good you are. It's about
there's a few exceptions.
Coaching is about managing egos. If you let it get out of control,
any professional
LeBron
sport
versus Giannis. Like, LeBron is the best basketball player of all time. And I still like Giannis more because he's humble and that's it.
This is a player profile. Profile, yeah.
So I don't know. Like,
there's different ways to go about things, and like, look, you know, it's weird because, like we said, he's
coachable.
The deja vu of when Babcock got fired, Pittsburgh, and now Keefe. It's like almost the same things happening. But we're gonna move off that topic. And you know, the Leafs are just a disaster, and we'll see what happens when we're back next week to talk about it. They could be in a completely different spot.
I'm never spending money on the Leafs again.
Yeah, I don't want to go.
If I get tickets for free through work or something, cool, I'll go. I will never pay for a regular season or a first round playoff.
It's funny you bring that up because they haven't been selling out, and it's the first time in a long time. COVID obviously probably plays a factor, but I think people are really starting to turn on this team and
Man, it's just
dark days.
It's just not right though that they keep like it's a business, right? And so they really truly treat it like a business. If you want to touch upon the whole Rogers situation with Masai Ujiri and what's his name, Ted Rogers or whatever, Ed Rogers coming out and saying like
Ed Rogers, remember Ed Rogers?
Oh shit, dude!
Andy Bernard and Aaron Rodgers.
We really came full
Ed
circle.
Helms, Aaron Rodgers. I called him Andy Bernard again. Full circle.
Wow, man, Ed Rogers. Like,
but yeah,
what?
that's a crazy story.
But anyways, yeah. So when you see stuff like that, you really truly get to see the dark side of sports. And I say the dark side. It's really the real side of sports because it is a business, and these guys are trying to make money off of it. So it's difficult as a fan to see both sides of that and not feel like I'm getting slighted every time I go to a Leaf game and I buy really expensive beer and I pay stupid price for tickets. Like, it feels like a slap in the face. I feel like a cuck when I do that myself. So is that a bad word?
No,
I don't even know.
I don't think so. It doesn't matter. It's a funny word.
I like it too.
You bring up dark side of sports. There's obviously the stuff going on in the NFL that happened with John Gruden and Mark Davis pulling a reverse Uno card today. Basically saying like, hey, yeah, you should get all the Washington football team stuff released because they've been going through a sexual assault case. Obviously, there's the Chicago Blackhawks. Tons of moving parts with that story. Don't know a whole bunch about it.
Yeah,
so we'll let the proper, more educated people talk about that situation because it's a serious one. But I brought up Ovi. So at the time we're speaking right now, Mike, he's played 6 games. He's already got 7 goals and 12 points. The guy's an animal.
And I just want to point out, the difference between Ovi and like a Marner or a Matthews or anyone else or Tavares is like he's never really struggled offensively. Like he's always been.
Ovi?
Yeah. He's always been
steady
top
Freddy.
5 scoring, like a fucking powerhouse.
So I got some numbers for you there.
And that's the difference. Even though he didn't win, he was always still the best. And that's not what we're seeing from our best players who make more money than him.
Exactly. Now, Ovi, he did have some ups and downs, but it was more about not being able to perform in the playoffs or whatever. But I'll bring up some numbers because you talk about how dominant he's been. So right now, he's only 4 away from Brett Hall. Maybe by the time you guys hear this on Friday, he's already passed Brett Hall. And then he's 29 away from Yager, and he'll be 3 all-time just behind Mr. Hockey and the Great One. He's 157 away from Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, at this pace.
So now Ovi is still like 230 pounds right now. He's an absolute beast, athletic specimen. He's 36 years old. He's probably going to play till he's 40. Probably could play till 41, 42. But for argument's sake,
We discussed this. He would have to average 40 goals a season for every single season.
If he plays 4 more years, so I did that till he's 40, he needs an average of 39.25 goals a year.
Right.
So did you know? That's just a tie Wayne Gretzky, too. In 17 seasons, Ovi's lowest total was last year, the COVID half season.
Right.
24 goals in 45 games, which is still pretty close to 40 goals on pace for 40 goals over 82 game season.
Yeah, it's pretty much right there, yeah.
So with the other lockout half season in 2012-2013, he got 32 in 48 games. So pretty much almost the same. Even better, actually, compared to that low total.
That's 8 years before, too.
He's had 4 30-goal seasons.
I'm going to assume, just by those numbers, that, 32 in 2012, 2013, over 8 years, it's a decline of about... It's a decline of 4 goals.
Well, it fluctuates in between. So, there's no, up and down. It goes all over the place, but...
Okay.
I think I know what you're trying to say.
On average is kind of where I was going with it. But anyways, continue.
And let's not forget here, before I continue, Ovi is playing in an era where goaltending was at an all-time high compared to look, I'm not going to take away any from Gretzky because there's going to be purists out there, whatever. And I'm of the camp, I believe Gretzky is the best of all time. But the goalies were absolutely brutal in the 80s, 90s. The goaltending era with the equipment changes and, goalies being monsters, so much better than before. This guy is still scoring goals at an unbelievable pace. So anyway, 4 30-goal seasons. He's got 3 40-goal seasons, but they're 48, 49, and 46. So they're on the north side of 45, closer to 50. He's got 7 50-goal seasons, including his rookie year where he had 52.
7 50-goal seasons?
7.
And he has as many 50-goal seasons as he does 30 and 40-goal seasons.
Yes.
That's insane.
It is insane.
I didn't even know those.
Not to mention, he's got one 60-goal season where he scored 65 for 112 points. That was his best career year. I think it was his 3rd season in the NHL. He won the Hart, won the Lindsay, so that's obviously MVP voted by the players. He won the Rocket, the Art Ross. He's won the Rocket Richard 9 times.
Right. So that goes
Ferris
back
Bueller,
to my point.
9 times.
Goes back to my point, right? About saying that Ovi's always been dominant no matter what the team has done. He's always been dominant. And he was not always my favorite player because he had a bit of an ego and he didn't really always want to put in the effort to get better until, his later years. Like he's an
Shifted
example
more
of
to an
someone
all-around
who just
team game.
has just grown. Like there's no limit to what you can teach a player or coach a player if they choose to listen. And like, obviously Washington's had what coaches in the past couple of years since Ovi?
Bruce Boudreau, Peter Laviolette, I believe. They had that other guy that he was only there for a couple of years.
Right, I remember that, and they fired him pretty quick, after they lost
Tom Baldhead.
Yeah.
I forget his name. Who was Barry Trotz.
And Barry Trotz.
Barry Trotz won the cup. Yeah.
Tell me how many fucking good coaches that is.
They're all pretty good coaches. Those 3 are like
all
top 10.
legendary coaches, right?
Laviolette, Trotz. Yeah.
Why are we getting a 40-year-old Sheldon Keefe in here?
Well, this is the Leafs, and they're just like they did with John Ferguson Jr. We got to bring in the young, smart guys.
We brought Babcock in, and we fucking chased him out. Like, dude, Dubas. I don't know why we brought Dubas in with Babcock. That completely fucked everything.
Well,
up.
that's why Babcock got fired, because Shanahan gave the keys to Dubas. And is Shanahan accountable?
Well, you know what? Like,
he's the one who put Dubas in his place.
Dubas is just here helping a bunch of his buddies out. The fucking Sioux Greyhound alumni.
The nepotism.
The nepotism is insane. It's outrageous. Oh, it's disgusting.
Yeah, but anyway, Ovi's an animal. We're going to move on from the hockey.
He's a fucking horse. And you know what? I take everything bad I ever said about him because he's literally proved me wrong in every form.
Okay, put it if he does pass Wayne Gretzky, what's the main thing to do in hockey? Score goals. He will have the most of all time. Where does that put him in the conversation of all time? Does that move him into the top 5 with Gretzky or Lemieux? How?
It's tough.
Like, I'm sure I'm probably missing. So that's probably the consensus for.
It's tough for me to say if he's, because people talk about longevity. Gretzky didn't have that long of a career. Lemieux didn't have that long of a career either. No,
he did not. But oh my God,
But if he played more, he would have won all the titles, right?
I think if he played the same amount as Gretzky, he probably would have been the best player of all time.
So it's tough for me to say because I only watched Lemieux a few times when Crosby first came around and stuff like
we were young,
that I can remember really. Yeah. And I don't think I ever remember watching Gretzky, to be honest with you, even though I probably was alive for a few.
Well, it was his years in New York, right?
Right, exactly. So I remember my dad watching the Habs and like me listening and Gretzky playing and stuff, but I don't really remember ever being
vivid
like, wow,
memories,
Wayne's fucking great out there. You know what I mean?
Whereas it's like we kind of grew up watching Kobe and LeBron in their prime. And it's like we
Ovechkin,
remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like I've seen this guy literally grow his entire career to be the player he is, and like, dude, who am I to say he's not the best fucking player of all time? Like, I don't know. I really can't say. Like, I never really watched Michael Jordan, so I'm not going to say that he's a better player than LeBron because I don't really know. I've seen LeBron, and LeBron's pretty fucking dominant out there.
Yes, he is.
So, that's kind of why. And recency bias. Is it a recency bias or is it just all I know? Like, it's not really...
It's funny you say that with the MJ LeBron because it always comes up in golf, and this is just a full loaded sports episode today. I love it. But
same.
Tiger Woods, probably considered the greatest golfer of all time. A lot of people would say Jack Nicklaus. The guy's got 18 majors. Tiger's got 15. Jack Nicklaus has been a runner-up 21 times at majors. 21 times he's come in second place. We can probably do the math on Tiger. I don't know how often he became second because he usually closed out every single time or he wasn't even there.
Right.
There's probably a couple top 5s, top 10s, but
it's tough to like.
Now, hold on. Jack Nicklaus, the technology back, they're playing with wooden clubs.
Right, exactly.
Basic steel irons.
Does that put him at an advantage or a disadvantage? Because everyone else he's playing against is also using wooden clubs, so he could have just been better with wooden clubs,
It's a great point. I never really thought about it like that.
It's tough to make because the technology's so much better now, but it was still worse for everyone else back then too,
Yeah, it's like time, money is all relevant.
And since Tiger got really good, so did everyone else. Like Jack Nicklaus was shooting 70s, I'm pretty sure. And Tigers and everyone else is shooting 60s. Like I saw a stat that said it would be like Jack Nicklaus shooting 50s in his era is what Tiger was doing or something. So
that's so insane. That's
when
so
people
insane.
put it into perspective like
Yeah.
that, when like Tiger's playing against real athletes, and I say that in quotations because I wasn't watching golf in the fucking 60s or 80s
Yes,
or whatever
yeah.
it was, right? But like
Arnold
these guys
Palmer
were
days.
smoking and drinking,
Diet Cokes.
and when you see Tiger, he's a full blown athlete.
Well, he changed the game completely. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. So in my eyes, he's probably the best golfer of all time,
Mm-hmm.
simply because I wasn't a big golf fan before that, really.
I guess people would say Jack Nicklaus is the more winningest.
It depends which way you look at it.
Yeah.
Like, I think
it's Tiger.
I think back then sports were a lot easier to be good at.
Well,
or dominant at.
and we talk about Gretzky. Look how many bad guys there were in the NHL.
It's in every
pylons
sport,
out
dude.
there.
Like look at Babe Ruth in baseball, and like
and that guy was no athletic specimen.
right, he was a smoker too. He was hacking darts in the dugout. You know what I mean? So the games have changed,
Everything.
obviously,
Evolved.
and like the players in general,
Bulbasaur
the
to
competition,
Ivysaur.
exactly. The competition got better. So
to Venusaur.
being a winning person in a more competitive situation, I think makes you a better athlete personally, and therefore the best in the sport.
100%. Hold that Pokemon thought there I just brought up, but quickly
Venusaur.
before we shift off from sports, the JV tracker, our big science track, the Victory Baby. 4 games since we last spoke in the Pelicans season. He's averaging a double-double. Shout out Jonas Valanciunas.
Will you trade me him?
Maybe not. 17 points, 15 rebounds,
Joel
2
Embiid
assists.
and a second,
For JV and what, a first?
maybe.
I'll do it.
Okay, we'll talk.
Might be brokering trades here on the Improversation Podcast. I was hoping Oz would be here so I could broker a football trade with him.
Listen, I also call JV on the come up too. Like the guy has also been one of those players
Big
who
science.
works hard and just gets better every single year. So
That European blood.
no quitting those guys.
So I brought up Pokemon quickly there. I was kind of trying to segue into this. I saw on Twitter this morning. So scientists discovered, we're just completely switching topics here. The scientists discovered fearsome dog-sized scorpion that ruled the Chinese sea floors 400 million years ago.
You're telling me there was a scorpion, a sea scorpion that was running a entire Chinese empire under the ocean for 400 million years? How long?
That's correct. 400 million years
ago.
Dinosaurs? When were dinosaurs? 650 million, so they say. Scientists have discovered an ancient fossil of a sea scorpion that was 16 times larger than present-day scorpions. So almost as big as a dog. Now, they don't tell you what kind of dog. That could be like a Chihuahua or a fucking...
It's probably...
what's a Scooby-Doo dog? Great Dane.
Oh, Great Dane. I don't think
those things are horses.
I don't think it's a Great Dane. If I think about a scorpion, maybe that big...
So they were...
16 times?
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. It could be pretty...
Probably the size of this table, maybe.
it could be pretty big,
I mean,
right.
maybe half. It's still about a dog.
I wish
but
they gave me some scale. Is that a... Are those...
let's see if we can try and find a scale. I don't want to... Jesus, these videos
They're
of...
kinda creepy, eh?
Is this it? Previously, microterpids. This is like kind of a big science, I guess.
Microterpenes?
Oh, there's a car going through. But yeah, look at this thing. Like, I don't know, dude. Scorpions in general. So funny. You brought up the other day about the long flight time to Arizona in December, and I said, try flying to Thailand.
Yeah.
Did you know on the streets in Thailand, this was in Bangkok specifically, they sell as a delicacy or a treat scorpions on sticks? Would you ever try that?
I'm not one to shy away from a lot of things, to be honest, so I probably would. I've eaten like...
Dude, it looked so unappealing. It looked
Remember
like all
that shit I
barbecued.
sent you on Instagram yesterday?
Disgusting. What's that guy
Dude,
called? Liver King?
Liver King? Okay, this guy is insane, bro. He just... I don't even know if I enjoy watching it. It's just mind-boggling to me. This guy eats raw testicle. He eats raw liver.
So
he eats
what
raw
was... Yeah,
organs.
I think there was it the video you sent us yesterday that it was explaining all the stuff
Yeah, look at him.
in his story?
Dude, he's such an animal that, like, something he's doing is clear. Like, look at him.
Is this him explaining what he's eating?
Yeah, so he eats a lot of organ meats simply because that's where all the nutrients are.
Let's see if he explains it in this
You know, like
video.
ground beef and steak, that's all muscle meat. That's that's the stuff that tastes good. The organ meat is where all the nutrients are that actually help you get muscle mass, good proteins,
Yes.
good amino acids, good omega-3s. And this guy is telling everyone that they need to start...
It's not quite dinner time, but it is snack time. And while this isn't the most delicious snack, it is a sure as hell nutritious snack. I'm gonna take a huge bite out of these testicles. All I did was remove the membrane here. You can see the other membrane is fully intact.
It's like biting into
Here we go.
a puck.
ASMR. Ew, what is that?
It's a bull testicle. And he's like, Like, it can't taste good, bro.
Wait for it.
Like, this guy looks like a Greek statue, but
Not spitting anything out.
Dude, he is
another bite.
just an absolute specimen.
I think I'm gonna gag.
But like, dude, he's also got like really good motivational like content too. Like,
this guy's fucking jacked,
like
dude.
I listen to the things he says, and he actually is inspiring. Like, he honestly is pretty inspiring.
Oh, sorry for that. Jesus.
Holy shit! But look at him.
What is that?
Looks like a liver, or a spleen, or something.
I thought he was going to explain it, but no, it doesn't. Nose to tail
What
animal?
is it? Oh, it says, so I believe we were once all strong, lean, and fit. We ate what we could get our hands on millions of years ago.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Millions of years ago, that was nose to tail animal. Today, it's fast food, sweetened beverages, refined grains, heavily processed shit. Mother Nature gave us everything we needed to live a vibrant, disease-free life. So I believe the answer to so many of our health issues, to lean muscle mass, to better metabolic fitness, it lies in our own backyard. So this guy started eating organ meat. And listen,
You know what? He's absolutely right.
he is right. Like,
absolutely right.
He's right. He said when we would hunt, like back in the caveman days, caveman era, Mesostoic era. Wow, fuck, whatever.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Like he said,
Mesopotamian?
maybe
I just remember that from an episode of Arthur.
prehistoric era. Anyway, he said the leader of the hunting pack would always get the liver because it's the most nutritious part of an animal. So it was like the king, well, not the king, but like the alpha would always get the liver because it's the most nutritious part of the animal. So yeah, it's fucking
Look in here.
disgusting
This is
what he
what I eat
does,
today.
but
The first thing you're going to notice is my breakfast. Pay attention to the liver and the bone marrow. If you don't get anything else on this plate, get this. Liver and bone marrow are really the fundamentals. You're going to notice this will give you the biggest impact that you're going to feel.
Oz 1.0, the OG, would be very happy because I know he's a big fan of liver, which is
You're gonna
gross.
look better.
Never
this
tried
guy
it.
eats it raw too.
Yeah.
The second thing
Nuts.
you're going to see is my concoction, my yogurt, and my maple syrup. In the concoction, we're going to have gelatin, creatine, duck fat, almond butter, and there's ghee. I'm sure that we'll share a recipe how we make that also. I have a protein shake. It's just 1 scoop of protein, about 32 grams of New Zealand protein. I have 6 eggs. The logic behind having 6 raw eggs is that it's high in leucine, and those of you that know, leucine is a potent mTOR activator, so it helps to build muscle and support performance. The second thing that you're gonna see is this delicious meat that's always cooking in my house. I have it here in between meals because it's just the most amazing snack. If you come over to my house, this is always gonna be cooking.
It's like beef
just
jerky
gonna
or
be
some shit, I
dripping
think.
with a perfect marbling of fat. So if you're in my house, you won't be able to avoid not eating
It
this
actually
snack.
looks kind of good.
So this is a perfect snack that I have between meals if I'm feeling like
So I'm going to pause it here because I'm reading this guy's comment. And he goes, one thing he is failing to tell everyone is don't try this at home. He's able to eat like this because everything he has is fresh, raised on his own ranch. Fresh meat like that is edible raw as long as the animal is healthy. Don't go to your local Walmart and start eating raw ground meat. You will end up in the hospital.
True. He's absolutely right. And he does say that, not in every video, but he does say, like, you know, go to your local butcher where you know it's like trusted meat and it is safe to eat raw. Like, that's what he was saying. So,
True.
anyway, so off track there, but like, man, it's just
No,
such,
it's
he's
good.
such an
Improvisation, bro.
he captivated me. Like,
I almost forgot we were recording for a
So
minute.
did I, dude. So did I, actually. But yeah,
cool.
like, he captivated me fully, and I was just like, holy shit, like, this guy, like, if I actually changed my life, I could fucking look like that. That would be crazy.
That
you know?
guy
Like,
at Liver King is the Instagram. Go look at it. Maybe we'll throw up something.
you know,
but
one thing he
crazy
does
shredded.
say is he reads all the DMs. I DM him all the time, and he hasn't read shit. So
You know what's funny? It's funny you say that because
I DM a lot of people, and they never.
there was like a sports journalist that was on Twitter one time. It's like, oh, this was like the beginning of the pandemic, and it was like, oh, I'm bored. I'm going to be on Twitter for a while. Hit me up your DMs. I'll answer all of them. Do you think I got a response?
Yeah, no, obviously not.
Fucking liars.
I know.
Alec Baldwin. I don't know if you guys have heard this story. This is our pop culture part of the podcast.
Yes.
Because
Very
I know
brief.
Mike has always wanted to talk about more movies. But
I do.
basically, if you guys haven't heard, a prop gun was fired by Alec Baldwin and accidentally, I guess we could say, had killed one of the cinematographers and injured the director. So According to the LA Times here, Alec Baldwin was practicing removing a revolver from his holster and aiming toward the camera during rehearsal for the movie Rust, when director Joel Souza heard what sounded like a whip and then a loud pop, according to a search warrant that provided grim new details about the final minutes of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins' life. In the newly released document obtained by the LA Times on Sunday, the director said the weapon had been described to him as a cold gun, meaning it did not have any live rounds, but the gun discharged, striking the woman in her chest and Souza in his shoulder, according to the police. And then Hutchins was pronounced dead at an Albuquerque hospital later. So apparently the shooting took place after 6 members of the film's crew walked off the set after complaining to the production company about payment and housing. Like that's like its own. You zoned out there. You gotta.
Yeah, sorry, I did. Totally did.
So this story, have you followed it? You heard about it?
Yeah, I heard about it. It's a horrible story. It's
crazy,
it's
man. Just
wild that something like that could even happen on a movie set. I mean, I'm surprised actually it doesn't happen more often. Just a pretty gut wrenching when I heard about it. Obviously I was like, okay, I need to find more details about this real quick. I've seen a lot of people say Alec Baldwin needs to be in jail. I've seen a lot of people say fire the equipment crew because they shouldn't have given him a live round gun.
I thought I had read something about the people, or the people responsible for that stuff. Someone had already been previously in trouble for this kind of thing, where they hadn't maintained like the prop guns properly. It just wasn't going through proper protocols. But
who's supposed to check the guns?
Here, this is right here. Halls, this guy has come under scrutiny before. In 2019, does it say his full name anywhere? Halls, something Halls. Not the candy. Hall's the first assistant director.
I think
in 2019, he was fired from the film Freedom's Path after a crew member had a minor temporary injury when a prop gun unexpectedly discharged. See, it was. Yeah. So this guy has gotten in trouble before. I mean, that's probably the guy who should take the most blame. That's your job.
He's an actor, right? Like, he's in full character. Like, some people really take on the persona of the characters they're playing, right? In order to get the true message across, right? So like Heath Ledger, when he played Joker, locked himself in a motel room for 7 days. Method acting, that's the term for it. Thank you. To become a psychopath, literally.
Yeah. He's not the only one who's done that.
And actually, I think it fucked him up, and that's
I think it was a big thing that led to his suicide.
Yeah, it's a bit of a whole controversy that way, but like, I don't even love Alec Baldwin. I don't think I blame him for this though. Like, apparently, so I've read somewhere else where like he's always super careful handling prop guns. So in other movies and stuff where he's had to hold guns, like he won't do it. He makes sure there's no kids in the area just in case, even if it's a plastic gun, is what I've heard. So to me, it sounds like it really wasn't his job to do the due diligence. Like,
it's not his job. His job is to act.
Right. So I mean, yeah, he fired the trigger, but did someone plant the bullets in there? Is this guy just a psychopath who puts live rounds in for fun? Does he think that in order to capture the
was it a live round? Because I've heard
it was live rounds apparently, or they were blanks. I don't know, but
because I've heard blanks. If you are too close to a blank, you can get killed from them because of the impact.
I've heard that as well.
Yeah,
but I think they said it was a live round gun by accident or something like that. So
crazy.
And Oz number 2 actually mentioned, like, I wouldn't be surprised if a director snuck in real guns to try and make it look more real, So
yeah, that's twisted.
There's a lot of different angles you can come at this from. Poor Alec Baldwin, because he's been in the spotlight for some shit like this before. Like, I think he's had like, I don't know, some shit that had gone on with his kids and stuff, whatever. But yeah, like, I don't know. I don't think he really walked into work that day and was like, I'm just going to be a dick and shoot someone, So interesting anyways.
You know what? Let's do some breaking news here, because this is kind of,
I know, I heard that's
ridiculous. So we're going to leave the would you rather and the big science fact, and we'll get Improvisation's pick here, but we just got some news that our Airbnb from Arizona, the guy is no longer putting the place up, so our thing got canceled. Is that what I'm reading here?
Yes, that's exactly
Say that the
reading.
owner took his place off the site. No explanation. Okay, well, that's kind of crazy.
So is this the one that we ended up choosing? Because it looks exactly the same. Like, I really don't even know if there's a difference.
Well, let's call Oz after this and figure it out. Before we end the podcast, because this is just breaking news of our own little problem. No one really cares, but that's very upsetting. It was very upsetting. So
this one's not nearly as cool, but yeah.
Let's just let's get to the improvisation.
Such a negative Nancy.
Boozy better. Week 8 picks. The 1 p.m. games. He's got the Steelers plus 3.5 at the Browns. He had a tough, scrappy divisional game, and he feels like it'll be within a field goal. He's going with the Bills at minus 13.5 over the Dolphins. Round 2 this year. They crushed him in Miami, duped by the Pats and Jets last week, and he goes Bills by 30. The Titans at the Colts. He's going with the dogs here. The Colts plus 1.5. It's a classic division game. The Titans are just better. Wentz stinks. Had Titans flipped. Give me the Colts at home. So he's going back and forth on his picks here.
Yeah, Boozy's always all over the place, you know?
In the 4 p.m. games, he's going with his Bucks at the Saints minus 4.5. He literally goes, you know why. That's his team. Go Bucks, Tom Brady, and
agree.
that whole story. The Pats plus 5 at the Chargers. He's going with the Chargers. Justin Herbert. They're coming off a bye. The Pats running it up on the Jets last week equals a regression versus a top team. And then the Sunday night game, big one here. Cowboys at Vikings. Cowboys fresh off a bye week. Bet the Vikings.
So are the Vikings.
Yes, and the Vikings, they have been scoring, so they're going to go... he's going to go with the Vikings, basically, is what he's saying here. He goes, they need a big revenge game.
But I still think the Cowboys are probably going to lose it in a close battle.
We'll see. I
mean, win it in a close battle.
Week 7, he had a tough one last week. Went 50%, 2 for 4. He's 5 for 2 on his lock of the week. I don't think he gave a lock of the week here. Maybe I'm just missing it, but if not, it'll be on his Twitter, so follow him at Boozy
Sorry,
Better.
Boozy, we lost it.
No, it's okay. Maybe I'm not seeing it. I just got thrown off by that news, but yeah. Those are Boozy's Week 8 picks. You can follow him on Twitter at Boozy Better. Mike, we're gonna run out with the camera here, so maybe we have to push the big signs. I wanted to bring this up next episode.
Yeah,
our not former, he is a friend of the show,
of course,
loyal listener Joe LaPera. He sent us a ghost video, or I guess you want to call it a ghost video.
It's a messed up video. We'll do a deep dive analysis.
It's very trippy, man,
because it's something that you look at. The story around it is really strange. So
very strange. We'll bring back Would You Rather. We'll bring you back with a big science. But thanks for listening or watching today's episode, everyone. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave a rating or a review. Hit us up on social media at Improvisation Pod on Instagram and TikTok, at Improvisation P on Twitter. We're out of here. And until next week.
Well, then get the fuck out of here then. Okay, see ya.